Welcome back, and like you can see in the background, right after AM business, we're focusing on the Nigerian election. Some conclusivity there, but is this what the Nigerian people expected? Did the Inec do or deliver the elections that the Nigerian people would have wanted? And whose hopes have been shattered? Atiku Abubakar, Peter Obi said that these elections or the results should be cancelled. But a certain Bola Tinubu has been declared president-elect of the Republic of Nigeria. Getting into the details with us, Kayla Megwa. She is with Channels Television. Kayla, it's really good connecting with you once more. Thank you for joining the conversation. Can you hear me, Kayla?
Yes, I can. Thanks for having me.
It's really good having you join the conversation. Let me start with the mood in Nigeria. What has the mood been like, especially with the declaration by the Inec that Bola Tinubu of the APC is president-elect?
So we have quite a heated polity. I actually took my time out this morning just to go buy petrol and see, how people are feeling. And it's the only conversation. It's the only conversation everywhere. You have people who are celebrating. You have people who are upset. But ultimately we have a president-elect. And I think the rambling started from yesterday, when the opposition, People's Democratic Party, and the Labour Party and the ADC held a press conference before the announcement of the results were made. At the time, I think there were just 17 states that had been called. But they released a statement, they actually held a press conference rejecting the entire results, saying that they wanted a cancellation of the entire collation exercise, stating the fact that the BVAS machine did not translate the results to the INEC portal, which is what the promise that was given to Nigerian people was from INEC. So they're saying based on that, these numbers that you're calling out, these results that you're giving right now are illegal. And they're saying basically that they wanted the process to stop, and they wanted the INEC chairman to be removed, and a new INEC chairman they said, outside the commission, come and complete the exercise. So a lot of demands there from the opposition, three of the opposition. Remember, we have 18 political parties. So out of the 18, three have come together to release, to make these statements and comments about how they do not trust this exercise. Meanwhile, in response, yesterday, the All Progressives Congress said that the process of moving the results from the BVAS machine to the INEC portal is not actionable by law. Now, I'm not a lawyer, but that's a conversation a lot of people have been having right now. Was it actionable by law? Was it not? Many people believe that it was actionable by law and that they should actually look at that situation again. So that's created a lot of the mood before the announcement was even made. Now the announcements have been made, and we're looking out to see what happens today. At least it's pretty early. We're hoping to see some congratulatory messages. We haven't seen those yet from the opponents.
Do you expect that to come on the back of the calls by the PDP and Labour, Peter Obi and Atiku Abubakar, saying that they do not trust in the results? Do you expect congratulatory messages to come from them all the same?
Well, I don't expect anything, but we're watching to see what happens. Incumbency in Nigeria has many people rattled. People were really hoping that this would be it. The All Progressives Congress had been in office for 8 years. This probably means another 8 years. But the figures that are given by INEC, and I can see that you're actually putting it there. 25% of the votes in 2/3 of the 36 states. Bola Tinubu, according to the results that were given by INEC, actually made 25% of the votes in 30 states. Now, they have an even number of states between the top three candidates of the parties. Bola Tinubu, 12 states, Atiku Abubakar, 12 states, and Mr. Peter Obi, 11 states plus the FCT. And the FCT is one of the states. It's just the Federal Capital Territory, but it's still treated as a state in this regard. So it's actually spread quite evenly among all three of them. However, it is the percentage in numbers of votes So we saw the increase there. And I can see that you're putting that up on your screen. Bola Tinubu basically won by about 2 million votes. Second in place is Atiku Abubakar, and then of course Mr. Peter will be with about 6 million votes as well, 6.1. Atiku Abubakar with 6.9 votes. 6.9 million votes, sorry. And then, of course, Rabiu Musa Konkoso with 1.4 million votes. So that's the situation that we have on ground right now. Congratulatory messages. While we don't expect anything, we're just basically watching to see what happens. Is there anyone who goes ahead and does that? Yeah, we do know that there's a lot of tension in the country right now. Some people have said congratulatory messages might actually reduce these feelings of anxiety and maybe get people to calm down a little bit. After all, the way to get justice, if you feel like you have been wronged in an electoral process, is to go to court, and not resort to violence. So we're watching to see how all of this plays out, at least today and the coming days.
What have been the reactions of Tinubu supporters? We saw him dancing buga at a point, of course, celebrating on cloud nine that he had won. And what has been the reaction of opposition supporters? For example, Peter Obi supporters. He was the third candidate in there, pulled a surprise. Some felt he could eventually win, but didn't. What have been the reactions of these supporters?
Well, we did see a protest yesterday, at least in the nation's capital, of some supporters of Peter Obi, upset about the belief that they were going to lose the election. And I think those sentiments are probably still there today. We're probably still having people who feel like they've been robbed of their mandate. The overwhelming support for Mr. Peter Obi was so great across the country, especially among young people. So there might be a lot of anger, a lot of disappointment going on right now. A lot of people in shock because they believed that this was going to be the election where their candidate was going to be sworn in as president. Not getting that from Inec may bring up a lot of, feelings of being upset among these people. So it's a lot of being upset, really, that we're seeing from people who support. And it's not just the Labour Party, it's even the People's Democratic Party. We're seeing people who are incredibly upset about the situation and, believing that, they have to do something, something has to be done to make sure that justice is served, what they term as justice being served. So we're watching to see, like I said earlier on your radio show, it's most likely that we're going to be seeing a flood of tribunals, a flood of cases in court. The election tribunals will be swamped. I can assure you that this year will be the turn of the lawyers. I can assure you that. So that's something that's going to be happening. But for now, a lot of anger and a lot of upset, a lot of disappointment, just basically watching to see how all of that translates into behavior as the days go by.
Now, even before we get into the timelines, what we can expect when the swearing in is likely to happen, even in spite of the court cases, a flood of them that will likely pour into the courts. What has been INEC's reaction? Some have called for the head of the chairperson of the Inec. Has Inec, per the people you've been speaking to in Nigeria, has the Inec lived up to expectation? They had given assurances about voting on voting day and the BVAR and all of that. Some of that, a lot of it, did not work on voting day. How have people assessed the Inec's performance?
It's not just even Nigerians, even foreign observers. That has been the major complaint of Nigerians and foreign observers. Were these elections free and fair? Some people think it was, many people think it wasn't. We do have a situation where the swearing in, well, by 11 this morning, the certificate of return is going to be given to the president-elect, Bola Tinubu. And then, of course, we're expecting a swearing in on May the 29th, whether the court cases are going on or not, because the wheels of governance have to continue turning depending on when cases are sorted out. We don't halt governance for court cases. Court cases continue alongside governance until that is sorted out, and then we can see changes or not. That's how it works, basically. But it's one of those situations where we really can't tell. Like, you see, this election was so unpredictable. We saw from the figures, maybe people didn't come out as much as we thought they were. Maybe we didn't see the crowd. Maybe the crowd that we saw was maybe the nation's capital and places like Lagos, but it didn't have that significant kick that we're expecting to have. Many people have had so many permutations of what could have been done, what couldn't have been done. How do people feel about INEC? Well, the BVAS situation is a big issue. It's still being debated everywhere. Is the translation of results from the BVAS machine to the Inec portal, is it actionable by law? Did they break the law by not doing that? That is the debate that is going on right now. Some people say they did, some people say they did not. But based on a lot of other things, training of ad hoc staff was also a problem. Late voting was a problem. Disenfranchisement as a result of late voting, and also disenfranchisement as a result of violence. So a lot of these issues have actually come to the fore. What people are trying to find out now is how can INEC do better? What can they do to make sure that these situations do not keep occurring with every single election? It's been very disappointing to watch the electoral umpire not live up to the expectations of Nigerians, but they say they're doing what they can with what they have. So much more is expected of Nigeria's electoral body, and we're watching to see as the governorship elections come around the corner. They're just in 10 days. And that's another set of serious elections that will be holding in 36 states of the country. So what lessons are going to be learned from the presidential election that will be used to prevent these kinds of feelings of being treated unjustly or not being or votes not counting? That's how many Nigerians are looking at the situation to see how that plays out before the governorship and state assembly elections, which will be coming up on the 11th of this month.
Well, at least just to confirm, so you say on the 11th, that's when the swearing in will happen, right? The 11th of March.
No. The swearing in is May the 29th.
May the 29th. Okay.
In this country.
But you made mention of the 11th.
The certificate of return will be given to Bola Tinubu as president-elect today at 11 a.m. at the National Collation Center.
Right. So May the 29th, when the swearing in is going to happen. Thank you so much, Kayla. Always refreshing interacting with you. And we'll stay with you much later when we connect to find out how things are shaping out in Nigeria. Kayla Megwa, a journalist with Channels TV in Nigeria. Well, on the back of that, we're going to be taking a break. When we return on the AM show, we'll be telling you about the Blue Skies Fresh Pact Initiative. More on that after the break.